Hey Bailey, first YouTube video. Are you ready? My name is Sarah and this is my service dog Bailey, and today I want to talk about my favorite things that happen as a service dog handler. You hear a lot about in the community about like the worst things that can happen. I hated that this happened. I hated that there was a fake service dog here. I hated that this person was rude here, and so both for myself and for the community, I think it would be really nice to have something more positive out there about good things that happen. And so, number one on our list, at least, I don't know about for other teams, but it's when you hear nothing. It's when someone completely ignores your dog. If they need to talk to you, they talk to you and not to them. It's probably one of the best feelings when someone is respectful and you don't feel like they're looking at your dog or your disability. You feel like they're recognizing you as a person, as an individual, and that just feels really good. Another one of the best things that someone can do or say about your service animal is like, I didn't even notice they were there. And this can also be a blessing and a curse because it's really great as a compliment, because one of our goals as a team is to be pretty inconspicuous as far as behavior goes. I don't want her to be misbehaving or being loud or obnoxious or in the way of anyone else, because she's really there for me and I don't want to be impeding on anyone else's experience, especially because I go to college. So in class I would hate to take away from someone else's learning experience. But when we hear that someone didn't even notice, it feels really good, because that means she's doing her job and she is doing what she's trained to do, which is to blend in. I say it's a blessing and a curse because sometimes you can hear several people say this at once and then they come up to you and it draws attention to you because now they have noticed. Normally it's when everyone stands up at the end of a meeting or a class, they say, oh, I didn't notice they were here, and then they come up to you. But other than that, it's a really good compliment to hear. Something else that we like to hear is, can I take a photo of your dog? Probably because on a college campus, I get photographed constantly, walking to and from class, to the dining hall, in the dining hall, in my residence hall. People see dogs where they don't expect to see dogs, and then they take a photo of it because they would like to show their friends, or they want to keep that memory, because for a lot of people, dogs brighten their life. But I really enjoy it when someone asks me for permission before taking one of those photos. One, because then we can get a better photo, talk to them a little bit about service dogs and respect, and how like it's awesome that they asked. But also just because it's so respectful to ask someone their permission before you photograph them, because it feels weird walking to class when people are, you know, trying to be paparazzi and slyly as they walk past you get a photo of your dog. But it's really nice when someone shows that respect. Another thing that I love to hear as a service dog handler is, can I pet your dog? This one is also a blessing and a curse because I have her clearly labeled in several places, do not pet. And people will still ask, which I appreciate them asking. And the reason I appreciate them asking is because I would rather have them ask than just go ahead and do it. While it would be nice to not, you know, have to answer that question 20,000 times, it does also show respect for the animal, even when she's unvested. I like it when people ask, just because I like to have her focus on me. I think it's respectful. She's not everyone else's dog, she's mine, so I should be able to make that decision of whether or not she's in a place and I'm in a place where she can be pet. So hearing that question, well, when you get it a certain number of times, kind of a lot, but I also really like that people are taking my perspective and my wishes into account before they go ahead and pet. Another thing that I love to hear as a handler, and it depends on what kind of mood I'm in, but in general, when people say like, hey, I'd love to talk about service animals, I know there's certain rules or there's certain things involved with that, I'd like to hear more about it, just because one, it is really respectful, and two, like, I really enjoy educating people about this, and some days I don't have the energy to, or the spoons to. I really do like to teach people and help them understand the world better, and also to be able to pass that on to any future teams that they come across, because I would much rather have more people informed than people continuing to make mistakes because they don't know, and then that makes someone else's life harder, or that person just doesn't know something that would be really nice to know. Another one of my favorite parts of being a handler is some of the non-task work that my dog does. They're still dogs, and being able to spend time with them, whether it's just cuddling on a good day, or playing tug, or just watching her face when I like do our release command and she gets to kind of wind down after a day of work. That is super fun for me. So that's not to say that having a service dog is the same as having a pet, but there are definitely some benefits to having a service dog as opposed to other kinds of medical equipment if your disability allows you to enjoy their company in that same way as you might be able to experience a pet. So playing with them, or going on walks, or just cuddling or whatever. I find that to be very enjoyable as a handler. Something else I really enjoy hearing as a handler is when someone learns about my service dog, they notice my service dog, they ask me a question about my service dog, and they say something along the lines of, wow, like, I'm glad that's an option for you to be able to use to help you with whatever you're going through. Or, wow, I'm really glad that she's able to help you with your disability. And then they drop it, and then they move on and they talk about other things. This is similar to the first one I talked about, but I think there's something beautiful about someone learning about your disability or learning about your service dog and recognizing it, but then moving on. And when they recognize it in this way, I think they do it really respectfully, and it's not saying, wow, you're so lucky to have your service dog with you all the time. Like, it's so nice to have a dog trailing you. Like, oh, like, that's awesome. But they're saying, it's great that you can have this accommodation, or it's great that you can have this tool to help you live life better. And then they move on and they say something like, what classes are you taking? Or, what else is going on in your life? And so that's not the center of attention. You're not your disability. You're not your service dog. You are your own person. And this does, I guess, really, really closely back to what I first said, is they're ignoring it. They might recognize it, but then they see you as a person beyond just your service dog, which I love. So that's my first YouTube video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope there will be more of these in the future. It just depends on what ideas I have and what my time and schedule looks like in the coming days. But thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and if you want to follow us on Instagram, Bailey's Instagram handle is @BaileyTheServicePupper, and it should be linked in the description down below. So thank you so much, and hopefully I'll have more videos to see you in. So thanks.